All right, today we are diving deep into a book that's short in pages but absolutely massive in impact. Hermann Hesse's masterpiece, Siddhartha. It's this incredible story about one man's lifelong, winding journey to figure out what it all means. And Hesse hits us with this idea right out of the gate. This one quote is basically the whole puzzle of the novel. It sets up this huge difference between knowing a bunch of facts in your head and truly getting it in your bones, you know? It's the difference between reading the recipe and actually tasting the meal. Which, of course, leads to the big question. If you can't get wisdom from teachers or books, then where on earth does it come from? And that question isn't just for Siddhartha. It's a question for all of us, and it's the engine that drives this entire story. Now, to really get this book, you kind of have to get the guy who wrote it. Hermann Hesse wasn't just some author making stuff up. He was a seeker himself, and his own life was, in many ways, the first draft of Siddhartha's quest. I mean, just look at his background. He grew up in this super religious family, was supposed to be a minister, but he just couldn't do it. He had to find his own way. Then World War I happens, and it completely wrecks his faith in Western society. So what does he do? He goes searching. He explores psychoanalysis. He dives into Eastern religions. Sound familiar? This personal struggle isn't just background noise. It's the very heart of the novel. So let's get into Siddhartha's story. He starts out with every advantage, but he feels this deep emptiness. He knows the rituals and rules aren't the answer. So he sets off on a search that is anything but a straight line. It's more like a wild pendulum, swinging from one radical extreme to the other. And you can see those two extremes right here. First, he goes all in on the ascetic life. He joins these wandering monks, the samanas, and basically tries to starve and meditate his self out of existence. He gets really good at it too. But the result? Total emptiness. So he flips the script. He swings all the way to the other side. He learns about passion, business, wealth, pleasure, the whole 9 yards. And the crazy thing is, he ends up feeling just as spiritually dead. And this is such a crucial point. It's so easy to look at that time of indulgence and think, well, that was a mistake. But it really wasn't. He had to do it. He had to get his hands dirty and dive into the messy, material world to understand why it wasn't enough. It wasn't a detour from his path. It was his path. So, after crashing and burning at both extremes, Siddhartha starts to put the pieces together. He learns, the hard way, that wisdom isn't hiding in some doctrine. It's not in denial, and it's not in indulgence. It has to be something else. The book basically defines wisdom as something you can't just learn, you have to earn. It's a deep understanding that comes from your own life, your own mistakes, your own journey. You can stare at a map of the mountains all day long, but you don't know a thing about them until you've actually climbed them. And this is the moment everything changes. He actually meets the enlightened Buddha. I mean, the guy who made it. And Siddhartha has immense respect for him, but he makes this wild decision not to become a follower. He realizes that even the Buddha's perfect words are still the Buddha's wisdom, not his own. To find what he's looking for, he has to be his own teacher. This decision to go it alone takes him to his absolute lowest point. After years chasing wealth and pleasure, he's just disgusted with himself. He's lost, he's broken, and he ends up wandering by a river. But, as it turns out, hitting rock bottom is sometimes the best thing that can happen. Seriously, he is right on the edge of ending it all. He's completely given up hope. And in that moment of total despair, a sound comes up from deep inside him, this sacred word, Om, the sound of the universe. And that sound, it's like a cosmic defibrillator. It jolts his spirit back to life. It's a complete rebirth. And right there, by the river, he meets his last and greatest teacher, Vasudeva, this simple, humble ferryman. This guy is one of the wisest characters you'll ever read. But he doesn't give speeches or have some complicated system. He says that everything he knows, he learned it from the river. And his only advice to Siddhartha? Do the same. Just listen. And that's it. That's the whole lesson. It's so profoundly simple. It's a shift from frantically searching for an answer to just listening. The ferryman's whole teaching is about stopping all the doing and just being. Be present, be quiet, and let the world speak to you. And this simple act of listening, this is what finally brings Siddhartha to the climax of his entire life's journey. This is where he finally finds what he's been looking for all along. So as he sits there listening to the river day after day, he starts to hear all its different voices. The happy sounds, the sad sounds, the sounds of people being born and people dying. All the opposites of life, all flowing together. But then, something amazing happens. All those separate voices, the chaos, the joy, the pain, the contradictions, they all merge. They dissolve into one single, unified, perfect sound. Om. And in that moment, he gets it. Enlightenment isn't about choosing good over evil or spirit over the body. It's about seeing that it's all one thing. That suffering and happiness aren't enemies. They're just two parts of the same perfect whole. He realizes that the world isn't a problem to be solved. It's already complete. It's already perfect in every single moment. So that brings us back to the big question. Why does this book, written a century ago, still hit so hard today? Well, it's because Siddhartha's spiritual search looks a lot like our modern lives.
Think about it. We live in a world of constant noise, right? We're just flooded with information, with ads, with social media telling us what to want and who to be. It's all about looking outside of ourselves for the answers. And Siddhartha is this powerful voice that cuts through all that noise and says, hey, look inward.
So if you boil it all down, the message is timeless. Trust your own journey, because self-discovery is everything. Remember that wisdom has to be lived. You can't just think your way there. Don't run from the hard times. Suffering is often our greatest teacher. And maybe most importantly, peace comes from embracing the whole messy, beautiful, complicated thing we call life.
And so I want to leave you with this question to think about. The book's central metaphor is that river, that deep, quiet current of life and truth. In our world of nonstop distraction and noise, how do you get still enough to listen to your own river? And when you do, what is it trying to tell you?